Hi guys, I'm going to show you how to start creating your tile relief sculpture. Okay, so you already rolled out your slab, you have your tile. Here it is. And you should have already put your name and section number on the back. Remember, don't carve too deep when you do that. You don't want to poke a hole through the other side. You should also have your bag with your name on it. You're going to use your bag as your placemat so that doesn't stick to the table. It might stick to the bag a little bit, but the nice thing is that you can peel it off like a sticker if it does get stuck. Alright, so I have my design here. And I already started to build up a little bit to make the relief parts. I started by lightly sketching in with one of the tools that's in your tray. My idea, my plan here. You don't have to start with a sketch. You can just start by creating things on the side and putting them on. It's up to you how you want to do it. My suggestion though, if you are carving in subtractive sculpting and you're putting things behind the parts that are additive popping out, I would suggest to do those first, because once this popping out part is on there, you cannot take it off. You can't lift it up and put things behind it. Okay, so I carved in lightly where I want my objects and I started to build. Now I put my center spot on here. This is going to be a yin-yang symbol, but it's a little chopped up around the edges, so I'm just going to take the sponge that is in your tools and I'm just going to go around the edges of that and smooth it out a little bit. Make it nice and neat so there's not these chopped up edges. I want to make it look nice. And I also started to put a little detail on the side over here, something else that's in relief. So I rolled out another piece and I'm going to use my tool here to cut it. Now remember, when you're attaching objects to your clay, you need to slip and score. So scoring, you are taking one of the clay tools and you're just putting some little scratches into it, some little indents there. You also need to score on the piece of clay, the tile where you're putting it. Remember, it kind of works like a zipper. They grab each other like teeth. Then you'll open up your slip container. You can use your finger or one of the tools, it's up to you. And put a little bit of slip on there. You don't want to put too much on there or else it won't connect. I'm going to lay this down, lightly tap it. And then this is a little too long, so I'm going to use my tool and just cut it right there. Okay. Now you can use your finger to smooth it out if it's wet. I recommend don't touch your clay too much if your hands are dry, because your hands are just going to take the oils out of the clay and you're going to dry it out. It's going to be really hard to work with. Or you can use the sponge. Okay, so I'm going to smooth it out a little bit with the sponge. Alright, and then I also added some indents along the side, so I'm carving in, subtractively sculpting along the side there. Okay. Now, if you're making something else, I would recommend, like besides a coil or something like that, you're making something bigger, like some of you are making Xbox controllers or things like that. I would recommend taking a slab of clay or a chunk of clay that you have from your extras, and you can flatten it out. I also have these rollers you may use. And then use one of the tools to create your object. So cut it out from that clay. And then you have your shape, and then you can add other details on there if you like. There's lots of different tools inside your bin that have different textures on them. So this knife kind of has some little dots at the end, so I'm just going to use it to put some texture on. This could also be used for scoring too, because it's putting that texture in there, those marks. Okay, so anything you do on top of this, make sure you do it before you put it on here, because it's going to be much easier to work when it's not on the tile. Especially if you're carving into it as well, because you don't want to carve too deep. So say, I love art. So I'm going to carve art on my heart. Hey, that rhymes. Okay, so do whatever you're doing before you put it on there. That's my recommendation. Okay, and then when you finish, you're completely done. Leave it out of the bag, on top of the bag, and on your cart. If you are not done, make sure it is put in the bag, sealed tight with no air, or get the most air you can out of it, and it will stay wet that you can keep working it.